Welcome to today's explainer. Okay, picture a band-aid straight from the future. Let's say you get a really deep cut on your arm. Normally, what do? We're immediately scrambling for gauze, applying pressure, and basically just bracing ourselves for weeks of scabbing, sensitivity, and super slow healing. But instead of all that, imagine you just apply this glowing, highly advanced patch directly onto the open wound. 4 hours. Yep, that is the entire window we're talking about here. Within just 4 short hours of applying that advanced patch to your arm, an absolutely astonishing 90% of that deep wound is completely closed and healed. The tissue is reformed, the gap is bridged, and almost all of that trauma is literally reversed in the time it takes to watch, maybe a couple of movies. Just think about the biology of that for a second. Normally, your body is barely even finishing its initial clotting phase in 4 hours. Sounds like science fiction, right? I know, it sounds like something dreamed up for a movie set in the 22nd century where severe injuries just magically vanish into thin air. Okay, let's dive into this because, amazingly, this isn't fiction at all. Researchers and bioengineers have actually crossed that barrier from sci-fi right into laboratory reality. They've invented this incredible technology, and it is 100% real. Mimicking natural skin. To truly grasp how a biological recovery this rapid is even possible, we really need to unpack the blueprint of this invention. The foundational concept here is biomimicry. The secret isn't about overriding our biology with harsh chemicals or artificial synthetics. Actually, it's about deploying a technology that acts exactly like our own bodies do. It provides this hyper-advanced scaffolding that allows our natural healing systems to just operate at an incredibly accelerated speed. Skin Hydrogel. It's an advanced medical material that holds water while staying strong and flexible, forming a network, kind of like a flexible net. So, what is this stuff actually made of? Well, researchers call it a skin hydrogel. Hydrogels are highly advanced medical polymers with a very specific superpower. They possess hydrophilic polymer chains. Now, in plain English, that just means they can hold a massive amount of water without dissolving or losing their structural integrity. Imagine a complex molecular network. It's very much like a microscopic, flexible net that traps and holds moisture right in place. This unique architecture gives the hydrogel the exact biomechanical properties of human tissue. It perfectly matches the precise strength, the stretch, and the flexibility of your real natural skin. Natural skin repair versus skin hydrogel repair. Let's put this into perspective by contrasting the two. Normally, when you suffer a deep cut, your body's natural response is a massive biological marathon. It takes days, sometimes even weeks, to slowly and methodically send platelets, white blood cells, and fibroblasts right to the site. They have to painstakingly rebuild the extracellular matrix totally from scratch before any real healing can even happen. But this super hydrogel, it acts as a structural shortcut. It arrives fully formed, providing the exact structural matrix those cells need instantly. It facilitates the exact same cellular rebuilding process, just exponentially faster than your body could ever manage on its own. The cellular healing bridge. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the biological machinery at play. How exactly does a synthetic material accelerate the body's natural timeline so drastically? Well, the researchers describe the hydrogel as acting like a cellular healing bridge. Instead of your skin cells having to blindly build their own foundation across a gaping wound, which, as you can imagine, takes immense time and cellular energy, the hydrogel drops a physical and biological 3D scaffold right across the injury for them to easily traverse. Number 1, protects from bacteria. Number 2, keeps the wound perfectly moist. And number 3, guides skin cells to close the gap. So the absolutely crucial point here is how this perfect bridge mechanism actually functions in real time. It breaks down into 3 distinct dynamic steps. Step 1, the moment you apply it, the hydrogel acts as an impenetrable physical shield. It immediately locks out outside bacteria and pathogens, effectively stopping infections before they can even start. Step 2, it leverages that water-holding molecular net to keep the wound environment perfectly moist. This is absolutely critical because cells need a fluid medium to migrate, right? They simply cannot crawl over a dry, hard scab. And step 3, which I think is the most fascinating part, that 3D scaffold actively guides your natural skin cells across the gap, literally propelling them precisely where they need to go to permanently stitch the wound closed. 0 hours, apply patch. 4 hours, 90% healed. 24 hours, fully repaired. Let's really map out what this astonishing recovery timeline looks like in practice. At 0 hours, the wound is fresh and you apply the patch. Fast forward just 4 hours, and as we noted at the very beginning, the structural gap is already 90% healed. The biological machinery has literally raced across the bridge. But the truly climactic moment is the 24-hour mark. In one single day, the damage is fully, entirely repaired. Total structural integrity is restored. The hydrogel bridge completely compresses the biological marathon of weeks into a mere 24 hours. Absolutely incredible. Changing the medical future. Zooming out from the microscopic cellular level for a second, we start to see the much bigger picture. This rapid recovery mechanism is a massive, massive deal for medical technology. We're talking about a real-world impact that will profoundly alter how patients experience healing, trauma, and recovery across the board. It is a fundamental shift in how we approach human vulnerability. Everyday skincare on one side, critical medical care on the other. We're looking at acne scars and severe rashes versus surgical wounds, serious burns, and chronic diabetic wounds. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that revolution looks like across totally different fields of medicine. It bridges the gap between critical, life-saving care and everyday dermatology. On the critical medical side, this hydrogel could completely change how trauma centers treat severe surgical wounds or life-threatening burns. Think about diabetic patients who suffer from chronic ulcers that normally take arduous, super painful months to heal, sometimes even tragically leading to amputation. This material can close those wounds rapidly and safely. But then, looking at everyday skincare, this exact same biomimetic technology could be applied to revolutionize how we treat common cosmetic issues, helping people heal from stubborn acne scars or severe, painful rashes faster and cleaner than ever before. The future of healing is already here. You know, it's incredibly easy to look at leaps like this and assume they're decades away, just a pipe dream meant for a distant future. But the reality is that the future of healing is already here, today. Medical technology is evolving incredibly fast, much faster than we often realize in our day-to-day lives. This life-changing cellular breakthrough is not just a concept, it is a present reality. Which leaves us with a totally fascinating question to wrap up our explainer today. Would you try a futuristic super skin patch like this? Think about your own readiness for this entirely new era of a rapid medical recovery. The next time you get a severe scrape or a cut, are you ready to just apply a glowing hydrogel patch and watch the injury effectively vanish in a single day? Keep that provocative thought about how our definition of healing is permanently changing in mind as you go about your week. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep exploring the incredible world of science, and I'll see you next time as we unpack another fascinating topic.